day 3 of this experiment. I'm really proud I'm doing this experiment because I'm just gonna talk out loud things that come to my mind here in flow state. I'm trying my best to do in flow state because whenever I think of a topic that I need to deliver on camera and I need to deliver X, Y, Z or step 1, step 2, I have, second thoughts in the mind and I'm not in flow. So for me, this is day 3 of this experiment. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna get out of this, but I'm gonna trust that my inner self made this decision for some reason. So I made this decision. Really, I didn't think much about it, so I was quite convinced to start to do this challenge. A thing that I couldn't have done last year. But let's see what I can do in 30 days or what lessons I gain from this. Because this is really the truth. Sometimes you don't know why you are doing things. You have a pull or a willingness or a desire or something inside you. That's what I refer sometimes to intuition or your inner self or your inner knowing. Because you sometimes want to do something without knowing exactly why you want to do something or what the lessons are behind this. For example, I really had this it's not a calling, but actually this, inside idea to do this. And I'm not sure how it's gonna turn up, But this is actually really magical because I've experienced in different situations as well, like when you do some things or maybe you are in the middle of an argument and you are very, very confused, but then you make certain action, maybe you leave for a minute or you tell the other person, I need some time to think about this, and you are not very sure why you do this, but then afterwards you realize what you've done it. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but I came to a point right now, or I am at a point right now that I trust enough my intuition or my inner knowing that to follow things without knowing exactly why I'm doing them. I mean, of course, it's not like extreme things, it's like this is a challenge of 30 days, talking to the camera unedited, which is kind of cool. I'm not talking in anything in particular, but having this inner knowing that I'm gonna do it, but not knowing exactly, the benefit or the lessons or the strategy behind all of this. I have nothing, really nothing. Like an hour ago I was just thinking, it's a little bit raining today or rainy today, should I keep doing this? Or maybe I have like 6 views in my previous one because it was probably a bit of a mess or I was like dressed for the gym, and it's just, let's do it. Even though if no one is watching this, I'm gonna keep doing this. And yes, sometimes this kind of knowings that you have, of course, as I said, if there is nothing extreme, you are not hurting anyone, you are not doing anything like, extreme, let's put it illegal or whatever, just something. And you have like a knowing that it's right for you to do these things. When I was a little bit younger, I couldn't have trust my intuition this way I'm doing now, but I think with certain experiences, as I said, like relationships, like, in any partnership, friendships, also like with work, with kind of decisions that they don't have really a logical, strategic like plan, like a thorough, detailed plan, but I had some inner knowing or I had some pull towards doing that for a reason, like there is in English saying, for some reason, and they don't state the reason. So it's actually really like that. I just thought of this challenge, like today is Monday, so I thought of this like Friday morning or Saturday morning, and Saturday morning, and I didn't think more than, I didn't give it more thought to this. So it's actually probably quite an statement that I do this. So I trust that there is like a bigger reason or something, like a deeper meaning or that. And if there is not, I probably would have improved skills or whatever it is. Like it's always gonna be something, In the past I joined an internship that I wasn't quite sure about, but I had some, pull towards doing that internship specifically, and it wasn't even related to my background in like engineering academically, whatever. But then, looking now back at it, I've learned a lot at that point there in that internship. Also, not only like professional skills or whatever, but it is where I needed to be at that time. It is what I needed to do at that time. So things like that happen to me all the time. You don't know exactly in the present moment because you are not grateful enough, maybe, or you are not appreciative enough of these things, or you cannot tell exactly the whole story because you can only live forward without knowing so much, or knowing to a certain extent, but you cannot play God here and knowing everything. But then you look back on this, like I look back on 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, and I see why I did what I did. So that it comes another concept which is regret. And for me, regret is a little bit complex because many people would say, oh, if you don't regret, you are a psychopath, whatever. It's like, no, obviously you can acknowledge things that you could have done differently at that point if you knew more information, if you knew better, if you've done it now, yes. But at that specific point, with the information you had at a time, with the awareness you had at a time, obviously, like as I said before, like excluding extremes or things like hurting people, like illegal situations, wherever. With the information you had at a time, the awareness, you did the best you could, So regretting for the sake of regretting, because you are now a different person, you know more, it's just a waste of time and a waste of energy sometimes. So, if in 3 years I think, oh, I did this like 30 days camera challenge, I'm gonna find a lesson for sure. But if I think, oh, I should have done it a year before 2025, I should have done it in 2023. No, really, not really. I don't regret not doing this before, even because it wasn't my time. It wasn't. I really believe in like the right time, to do things. So that's why the regret is not really like matching with my beliefs. Like, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't like the right time for me. I wasn't ready enough to do this. I think if I have done this unedited, like just talking to camera clips 2 years ago, would have been like my nervous system, everything like collapsed. It's not a thing that I could have done 2 years ago. So I don't regret not having done it earlier, because it's just I'm comparing two different personas, two different situations. It's like it's not regret, because the person right now is doing what the person right now should be doing, or it's meant to be doing. But I'm going out of tangent here, but the regret, I understand it for like, if you harm someone, or if you could have done differently, if you were this person, I understand this. But actual deep meaning of regret, I don't see it very logical, because if you regret, imagine not putting yourself out there 3 years ago, but 3 years ago, if you had put yourself out there, it would have made you feel terribly anxious, anxiety attacks, whatever, because you couldn't handle the criticism online. Maybe it wasn't your time, It's like that regret is not very, fair, because you right now, you have the tools, you have the inner work, whatever, and you can handle better things. So